Morning, Jethro. Gosh, sorry you missed yesterday afternoon's trading room meeting. I've never seen so much exciting activity in the markets. Wow, you really missed out there. Hey guys, remember the guys? I think you were with me there yesterday afternoon, Mike. God, talking about traffic jam, you know? It was like being a fancy Ferrari and stuck in the traffic jam. So, yeah, that was, I have to say, without doubt, the quietest market moves I think I've ever seen, except on days when they're closed, obviously. Remember, I'm still fascinated with that NASDAQ on opening. I've never seen that before. American markets opening, the NASDAQ for the first few minutes didn't know where it was going. It was it was fascinating to me. If you've really experienced the markets, to see that was never seen like it. Absolutely didn't know what to do. It was jumping around with about 4 or 5 pips of itself. We didn't know whether to go up or down. It was amazing. Risk of being vulgar, I hope I don't offend anybody. I think there's more action in the Pope's bedroom. Okay, well, not sure we can make much change today. I hope so. I'm just discussing it with the other guys in the strategy meeting this morning. And, and finally, wait to, could be what is, if you, no, I won't go into that now. I will discuss that now. Somebody discuss it, it gets quiet again. You know, here it's not bad, but particularly overseas, they've got internet just about everywhere. I mean, every pub, restaurant, I'm told even on the sodding buses, because they've got big public transport there. They've got internet, and when you can pick up a laptop for maybe a couple $100 or whatever that is, a couple hundred US dollars, everyone can afford a laptop. So when you go away, all it means it's not you're not putting your sort of what you call it, the old desktop, packing that away. No, you bung your laptop in with your luggage and off you go on holiday. So you can still look at the market. So I'm not sure the thin trading is as big a deal as it maybe at first thought. I just think it's because the world's made of followers, leaders and followers, right? And if the leaders don't know which way to go, how can we expect the followers to do that? And I'm just really, I think the major issue here is the leaders right now do not know. And that's why there's no action, because they tend to, the big money tends to lead the market, and we tend to follow the smart money, as simple as that. Whether you've got an RSI up, tapping up for whatever, we can discuss this now, or anything. We can look support, resistance, we can look at all sorts of stuff, but if the leaders, the big institutional players aren't not sure what's happening or don't do much, or because they're waiting, well, us followers, I mean, what can we do? And I think that is the primary point. And if you look at those candles, it means they don't know. We're in Joburg. You don't know whether you want to go to Limpopo or to Durban, and you just can't make your mind up. Simple as that. If you're in Joburg, you know what I mean. If you're in Cape Town, is whether you can't go. I don't know, because that's right on the peninsula there. But so the best one is Joburg, south to Durban or north to Limpopo. What are we going to do? And you're still sitting there arguing until Christmas is over, and you're still at home. Slight exaggeration, but trying to get the idea, the decision there. And I think that's the frustration. Yeah. Well, there you are. I've heard that. It was actually because my sister and brother-in-law in Italy recently, and even on the buses. So for the buses in Italy, guaranteed they'll have them in Taiwan and Japan. And apparently South Korea's got the fastest internet in the world, so I'm told. If that's true or not, I don't know. But it's a very, very fast, cheap, and blah, blah, blah. So everyone now, even you're out of work, because you have a gold system there, can afford a laptop and can afford an unlimited fast internet. So there's no reason, if you can afford to go on holiday, why you won't take your laptop with you. Might as well. As I say, in the past, and finally asked the question in the past, it was about 35% of the normal volumes over that period, because people had desktops, didn't have that sort of thing, But now that's all changed. Morning, Calvert. That's pronounced properly. Well, there you are then. Well, mine's supposed to be 50 on the fiber per second, but obviously that is pretty stable, but it chops and changes on use, etc. But and it's probably cheaper than here as well. There you are, 200 rand a month. There you are, 200 bucks a month. I'm paying for 50. It was 20. They upgraded, not me. They upgraded. That increased my monthly to 50, and I'm paying 900. So there it is. And then when you do go to a restaurant here, not it's like the mobile internet. It's rubbish, really. It's just too slow. But I believe there, you go on there and it's just not a problem. That's a good question, man, because the market's about quiet. We've discussed surfing. Surfing USA, the Beach Boys are old enough. Anyway, why'd you answer that? I've got the GBP CHF. You might have been stopped out. I think it went up to, this is a daily, yeah, went up to just above our 1.1310 modified SL. So maybe you guys were knocked out. All right, moving the profit. Some guys might still in. It's still, again, indecision. If you're still in, hold, obviously. Still doing okay as long as you're modified into a profit. I think some of you guys might have been kicked out of that now, but again, in a profit. Yeah, okay. But never mind, you made a profit. But that's how important we've got to do these modifications now. Because they're different to the past. You left your stop and wait for your TP, not anymore. There's so much chopping and changing. Remember, everyone's got access to a phone now. So it means all the media, all these 24/7 channels, sensational channels or whatever, have immediate access. They press the button, immediate access to everybody. So it creates a lot of emotional instability on those markets. That's why you get this sort of a lack of follow through in a lot of cases. So protect yourself and rather not be on board and be fed up because it did go right to TP, then stay on board, hoping it will, not modifying the stock, and in the end, your winner turns into a loser. That's been my sort of advice going along for a couple of years now. So I'm sticking with it personally. Okay, all right. I just want to mention, I've got this RSI up, discuss it really. I want to point out that everyone's got their own strategy. Some people haven't got a strategy at all. They're just purely on emotion, especially usually people start. But in theory, you should have your own strategy with experience down the line. And when you have your own strategy and it works for you, understandably, why change it? And you're going to obviously defend that strategy and say, I'm going to use it, you're wrong. Well, I'm going to put another point of view. You're a Democrat, you're a Republican, you're a DA, you're ANC, you're a Conservative or Labour. You're not wrong. It's your specific opinion. If you're happy with it, works for you, fair enough. I have mine because people knew they might start with mine because that's what they're looking at. You know, that's what I'm doing. But if you do like other stuff and it works for you, please do it. However, I have found, and I've played around most of these things, forgot most of how they use them. Actually, Clinton might know more about it because he's done presenting and platform training to much more detail. And some of that stuff I've forgotten about. So if you want to go into some fancy consolidated channel indicator, which I've used, but I've forgotten now, I haven't used it for over a year or so now, maybe longer. Mike Clinton probably be more than myself, interestingly enough. Because they teach that sort of thing. But I just find I want to. What I'm saying, don't want to change. There's no point stuff out here. We're looking at this RSI here, or I've got the default algorithm, as you can see up here. I haven't changed it around, just as such. Now that says 30, and obviously that says 70. Does that tell me anything that the candle doesn't? That's what I use the candle. It's quicker and easier, and it doesn't clutter my chart. That is there. Now, let's say this came off and off and off and off. This would, I guarantee, start turning down because it follows the price action. The problem is, how far can it go? I don't think we get to naught. I don't know how far it goes. Let's look at the monthly one. So it can't even get to naught, really. Look at it. It seems to be within those parameters. All right, shows how many times I've used it. So it's limited how far this can go down, but this is unlimited in the way that can go down. You know what I'm saying? So to say that's oversold there because the RSI says it, or oversold there, oversold. No, the sellers are still in charge. That doesn't seem to say, well, that's got down there, we mustn't buy it. You know what I mean? So this is called an oscillator. And the difference in indicator and oscillator is the oscillator is supposed to give you a strong direction to what's likely to happen. Well, I'm saying all of them follow that information from the price action. So the price action is clear in front of you here. And the candle, let's go to 15 minutes. it's responding immediately to the price action. It's not lagging, it's immediate. So if this continues down, this will continue down. That is following this guy here. So I'd rather this is my opinion. Jethro is happy to use a 21 and the 15 exponential, crossing the, I don't know, the simple, and then he's going to go on and it crosses the middle part of the Bollinger Band, and he likes his stochastic. Just, you know, Jethro, just an example. And it's working for him and he's making money. Well, fantastic. I'm just saying no problem with that, but understand the pros, absolutely, but the limitations, the cons, like leveraged accounts. There's pros, of course there is, but there's cons as well. And we tend to, as human beings, get very stuck in our ways, especially get older, very much so. And then we defend them. That's the absolute. No, it's a strong personal opinion. And my personal opinion is I quickly can see what's happening through my filtering through these two major moving averages. I know they lag, so don't count the crossing or whatever. I'm just using purely as a filter and purely with its strong, weak or middle ground, if you like. And I can see a little bit of an uptrend or a downtrend. The overall trend on the pound against the Swiss franc is obviously the gradients there to see it's down. Okay, so that tells me on the 15. Let's give it a better on the hour, give them more detail there. I'm going to look now for the 200. It's up here, down. It's had a bit sideways, up a little bit and sideways, but it's below the 200 area and the 50 area. Never mind the 10. That's personal use, and they are universally or internationally used, and that I found seems to work more times than it does not work. So I'm happy to do that. So you can start off with that idea, especially people starting, get lots to learn about cluttering up with more. So once they learn more, they can start adding bits and pieces to it if it actually helps them. But I've back tested a lot of these. I saw a YouTube thing on yesterday to try and keep an eye on it, saying this, I forget which one it was, and I think it was a MACD. Wait till it stops there, wait till the MACD crosses and opens, and then you sell it. And I back tested that, look at a couple. It didn't work the last time, but the person on that YouTube is working this time. And so to me, they're not saying they're unhelpful, but I mean, what are they after? I mean, why are they taking the trouble to do that? They're looking for lights and advertising revenue, in my opinion. Here, I'm not getting advertising revenue lights on. Well, we'd like to come to this. My idea here is to try and put it all in perspective, get an idea of what the likely movement is forward, because we can all see what's happened in the past, and most of these analysts discuss interminably in the stuff they write what's already happened. You have to know what's happened by history to know what's like that in the future. I get that, but they spend more time on that. But they start stumbling a little bit when they actually pin them down. Where's it like to go from there? You know what I'm saying? And they'll say the likelihood here is going to be further move down, and then immediately afterwards. But if it moves up, this could happen. So you're saying go either up or down. To be honest with you, Mr. Millionaire Analysis, I actually know that. Yeah, that's fair enough. So you want added to it. So I'm open-minded. If Jethro or I don't know, Joel comes out, or Andrew, or APW, or Brady, or Buckley, or Clinton, or Eugene comes up with something they've tried, we'll have a look at it. But once you back test them, it's always going to fail for the holy grail of the ones you're going to get just like nearly every single time right. It ain't going to happen. One thing I can guarantee, you're not going to get 100% hit rate. Because once you do, you've got no buyers and sellers. Because if you're right all the time, who the hell is going to sell it to you? Because I'm not going to sell my house to you if I know the price is going up, because I know it's going up, because I've heard the Jethro, the 100% hit rate he's got on his trading signals, knows house prices are going to go up. So I ain't going to sell it to you, but you can't take advantage of it. Just as long as we get that concept. You've got to have that difference of opinion between the buyers and sellers to create the market in the first place. So no, don't think if I only knew the gold price was going to get to see me, I'd be a millionaire. No, you wouldn't be, because there wouldn't be a market. Okay. And they are very much cherry-picked. Completely, utterly cherry-picked. I've been a long time, seen a lot of guys stand up there and they're teaching, etc., and they're showing how this happens, how the fib works. They cherry-pick that particular one to show the fib works. And if you put your hand up, so I'll show you one that didn't work, you're the enemy. People do not like you to contradict them. It's the way it is. They'll defend, aggressive, they won't listen to you, and then now you're the enemy, and it doesn't work. And that's why, unfortunately, we've got too many smile and wave in the world, because people do not want to put their hand up and say, I disagree, because especially the higher up they are, the more they'll kick you out. I remember that said before, that great little cartoon I saw once, where the youngster is standing up in front of the boss, sitting behind his big desk there. And he says, Mr. Smith, I'm very, very respectful of you standing up against me in that last meeting we had. We're going to be very sorry to be losing you. You know what I'm saying? Be open and honest, and let's hear your opinion, as long as it agrees with mine. That is unfortunately the way of the human being. So, yeah, but the opinions and questions I might ask might not. And then you put that boss on the spot, and he's not happy chappy, and you might have career limitations as a result. So, yeah, try to be open-minded on this and understand the psychology, limitations, and egos of the human being. Okay, so I think we're all clear on that. Okay, that's why some of diplomacy works, but as long as you got the point. Right, okay, now, so that's why I don't really use them much, because if this is now sideways, because there's price action sideways, if you like them, great. But that does not tell me anything more than I see at the moment, which is indecision. Now, this is one we're already in. Some big guys have been kicked out because of the modified stock. Some people might not have modified it, might still be in it, and then they could just hold and modify the stop into profit. I just wanted to show you that on there. Okay, I'll take it off just now, but I just wanted to mention that. But if you like them, use them. Just because I say I don't doesn't mean to say I'm right, you're wrong, if you're happy with it. But don't get too much pin the hope, because that is down there. That's a buy signal. That alone won't cut it. The buy signal to me is more of a confirmed bounce off a support or a resistance area. And maybe you can see that, that maybe the Swiss is stronger than the pound, fundamentals coming up. And you can see that the confirmation of the candle, which means the sellers are now selling off that, or buying off that bounce, or selling off that high to go and join it. And that, to me, I found simpler, quicker, easier to understand. Most people pick it up and find it a lot easier to understand. And it certainly worked for me personally. I'm telling you right now, more times than it's failed. But I get it wrong. And that's what creates the market. Tell you what, mate, I don't know how long I've known you, but sometimes great minds definitely do think alike. Well, not my great mind, but certainly yours. You seem to be on the same page. I mentioned that this morning in the presentation, the strategy room, and I'm looking for sell on this. It needs to get going to give me a bit of confirmation, because it's trying to come off, and then a couple of buyers are coming in. But on the 4 hour, this is lower than this. Clearly, you can see that. This we should get the idea. Once you get the concept, you'll see it immediately. If you're not getting the concept, you're going to battle way through. That's why I'm anti-parrot fashion trading. You've got to get the concept. Once you got the concept, the rest is number crunching. So that's clearly immediately, obviously lower. I hear what you're saying. Let's do a 1 hour. Drifting a bit, but that's the market for you. But it's still looking okay. So I go down and look at my other screen. Dollar index has come back a bit, which is good for gold to go up, unfortunately, which is not helping my cause much. It's come back to 104, but still holding above 104. Let's look at the yields. The yields, remember the opportunity cost I mentioned yesterday? So the yields coming off are not helping the cause either. Unfortunately, the yields are coming off. So the yields and the dollars come off a little bit the last couple of hours, which means it's strong for gold. So the gold is on the fairly high side here on the daily. So I think at the moment, it's a bit of indecision. Will it push up further or down? I personally think I think it's going to sort of hover a bit, and I think it might come off unless the dollar continues down to 103 on the DXY and the yields continue to come down, then it will move up again. But I have a feeling it might come off, but that feeling ain't going to cut it, guys. My feeling is not strong enough. I'm sorry. I need a little bit more confirmation. So I'm not so much watching that too much. I am, don't get me wrong, but I'm keeping a strong eye on the DXY and on the yields. And the economic calendar, which I'll post as well as per normal for you guys. We haven't got a heck of a lot coming out today. Only the core CPI, I think that's in Canada. Yeah, Canada core CPI, which could affect Canadian. That's quite important. Existing home sales, it's there, but it's not massive. You know what I'm saying? But that's all we've got today. Just remember that. So there's not big worries on that front. But I'm just going to post that to you anyway. Just give me a moment, guys. I'll look at that in a moment, Mark. I just want to post this for the guys who haven't got it. Everyone might have it, I don't know. But by the time last year I have not got it, half an hour's gone by for response, so I'll just post anyway. I'll put the yields on as well, so yeah, got all three. Okay, just let these guys in. Right, let's go up and look at these couple of questions here. So, entry 1870, that sounds good. Yeah, just wait for those confirmation on the DXY I just mentioned a couple of months ago. Stop loss 825 is above these guys, so I'm probably going to agree with it. Maybe a slightly wider stop, just above this. Maybe make it maybe 1830 or 28 or something, just above these guys here. Let's look at the weekly view on that. Yeah, maybe make it 1830. Just don't want to get knocked out in a tight stop. You know what I mean? That's a thought of mine. 1780 is good enough. If you're going in at 18, you're not going to squeeze. You go to 1800 a risk reward to make it worth your while. But I have no problem with 1780, and you probably had 18 that bounces anyway and taking your profit. But yeah, okay, it's going to move down. My problem now is I'm going out too much, so I can't get alerts during the trading. You're going out too much, as in physically going out and doing stuff. Yeah, well, okay. But that, fair enough, can't help that. Ask Clinton. I think they probably are. I've never used them in front all the time. In fact, I've completely forgotten how to, I've forgotten how to do the trailing stop. It takes a refresher to remember because I never use it. You know, it's like a language. If you ever use it, you forget it. But Clinton probably will help you on that. He's a tech guy. Hey, Clinton, just to embarrass you. But even Clinton can't help you if you've lost your connectivity there, Mr. Mark.
Exactly what Jethro said.
Well, the NAS traders, I'll be honest, Mark, it's a lot of the guys there, I tell you right, are rolling the dice. I know there's a lot of our guys don't come to TR, etc., who underfunded, don't really understand it because it moves, it's sexy. Some friend of them told them about it. You can make your fortune on it with some sort of YouTube video. They saw this guy in front of his Rolls Royce, you know what I mean? And they're rolling the dice, yeah. Okay, so yeah, I'll make it a bit more interesting. Yesterday was a nightmare. There was nothing happening, but maybe hope some more interesting stuff comes up this morning. The last trading session before the new year on the 9th is this afternoon. With the markets, we'll be around. Well, I'll be around anyway, within reason, not in the middle of the night, guys. Yeah, but in trade signals I see will be sent out normal way. But trading is closing for the season at this afternoon. We're doing one this afternoon, 4 to 5, 5-ish or whatever it is, depending if it goes to 5:30, depending, it might be 5, depending on what's happening out there. And then we'll be back whenever that 9th date is. Okay. On Friday, I'm taking a bit of a break, which I don't know I'm going to be doing much out and about. If I'm out and about, probably difficult to contact me because I might have mobile data on, I don't know. But I won't be out all bloody days. So if I miss it and you want a question on Friday and when I'm back within my data, clearly I'll respond. Just say, don't say, hang on, we came back an hour later, had to pop out and do something. Okay, that's on Friday. Okay, right, gold, yeah, yeah, we could just maybe, let's have a look. I'm tend to be with you on that. Let's come back to that. We've got to put gold down, let's don't forget about it and miss it. Just write that down. Put a little box around it. I think it's an opportunity, a bit of a pullback on this, yeah. Might get a trade there. Okay, let's go back to our friends, the yen. Let's start with CHFJPY. Not happening, see? Very frustrating, it's not happening. So yeah, we just don't have we don't have the bounce yet that I'm comfortable for taking it. Look at that. bounce there, I get that, but you didn't know it was going to get there at the time. And if it got there and you started to say, hey, the momentum's going, I'm jumping in, it could easily come off further. I expect if you broke this down to a shorter time frame, see a bit of a bounce up there. And you said, oh, I'm going to buy it there because it's right down this level here. Look, it went further down. Same here. We're getting the bounce now. What a pleasure. And it comes down here. At least let's go the momentum down. Oh, hang on, it's going back up again. Get the point. And remember, the Swiss is one of the stronger ones. So we'll go down to the US dollar yen. The US dollar is very iffy at the moment. So again, we're getting the same candle problem. See what I mean? So we've got to still sit in our hands on these. I've had a bit of bounce up. We're looking to sell again and get a bit of a bounce the S&P, but I think most of us want to get a bit of a better one. I don't think we can get back to 4,000. If we get maybe around about this level or even this level here, we might look and see a potential downside there. Our good friend, the NAS, I call that the heroine of trading, the NAS. Once traded, you can't leave it alone. You're hooked. Same thing. 200 pips stop to take away to 11, 10 egg, guess as good as mine. No. Get back maybe these sort of areas here. It might even get to 11.5, something like that. Stop up there, maybe take it down if you can afford it. Probably the same with the Dow. Where's the other one? Let's crunch it a bit. Yeah, Dow's now, interestingly enough, that's gone back into the buy zone. But to be honest, I'm not sure how long that's going to be maintained before the sellers come and push it back down again. Again, it's just not enough. Okay, sorry guys, but it looks like it's going to be one of those sessions again. I couldn't find this morning. So if you're not getting on your wonderful membership, my QT group, for all these wonderful signals, it might be another day of famine, I'm afraid, but we shall see. Maybe we'll get some later on. We're happy chaplains. Yeah. But I'll still say you do get amongst the problem discussed before. The problem with trading, let's say SL and TP are both targets, if you like. The SL target is reached because you tend to not close your trade. You stick with the strategy until you're kicked out. The TP is not always reached, so you tend to modify as we've done. So when you're actually taking your profit, it's often less than a 1-to-1 risk-reward ratio. That's the issue. It's like Jethro quite rightly pointed out. We've had 10 winners and 3 losers, but those 3 losers you stopped out at the target. How many of those 7 or 8 winners hit the actual TP? A lot of them took it beforehand, but count as a winner anyway. So that is sometimes the issue. I will say as well, because these up and downs ravaging the mind, we tend to sometimes take profit a bit too quickly or put the stop loss too close. And I think you might increase the blue side of your trading if you bear in mind, I have no problem reducing risk as in modifying stop loss, as long as remember to try and take a step back and not get it too close. It is frustrating if it gets kicked out, even if you got it 30 odd pips away, but don't get it 10 pips away or 15. You know what I'm saying? And don't forget, if you're doing well and you're getting a bit nervous, you can always reduce your position size. You don't have to close the entire position. Actually, now I'll come to that last phrase. Tighten, yes, I think so, because if you don't, you're going to reach a stage where it still doesn't get the TP, but it gets, let's say, 2/3 of the way there, and you've got stuff to do, like what's the name? Jeff is out and about. So, and something comes up, like the Japanese yen yesterday, 5 o'clock in the morning, and you're doing just fine. There's a TP there, the red line, the 10-day moving average, just about there. That comes out, bangs down, stops you out, and you're 50, 60 pips up. Now you're stopped out with a 100 pip loss. So yeah, check what you got, modify accordingly before you step out. If you're going out for the next 2 or 3 hours and you haven't got access to mobile data or whatever on your phone. Well, science is the point. Managing the risk is the science of it. But I'm going to say the manager is science. It's science until right now. It's correct. It's all about that emotion. Try and understand that emotion. Everyone says control it. Yeah, control emotion. Yeah, sure. I hear you. but it's so within our genome or whatever it is, in our mind over thousands of years, that tens of thousands, in fact. I just be aware of it. You're never going to control it. If I come and kick you in the face, your emotions are going to kick me back. You know what I mean? It's not to say, oh, I deserve that, and I'll shake your hand. It's not going to happen. You're going to smack me back. It'd be ridiculous, but you know what I mean. So our inner instincts are there. But takes a bit of practice, try and get an idea of some sort of control and think more scientifically instead of the emotion. And one of the easiest ways to do it is get that position size right. So it hits your SL, you're annoyed and not disturbed. If it's hurting your bank balance, you can't afford that stop loss, you can't afford the position size, that's where I guarantee your emotion will be all over the place. Yeah, this is it. Like in gas, yeah. We tried it. I pointed out it was only about $50. Make sure it's slightly on the aggressive side, maybe pushing toward a bit of a bump. We'll see. Can you afford it? We did it. It's a bit annoying. The guys think, oh, hang on, just got this signal from my new group. It's wonderful. I've got 2,000 my account and I'm going to risk 1,500 of it. And it goes wrong. These signals are rubbish. I'm leaving this, blah, blah, blah. And that's not the time and place to say, no, mate, you're wrong. You're overexposed. It's like saying, I told you so. You don't make any friends doing that. Trading stops. I'm personally not that in favor of. Depends on your circumstances. If you've got access to decent mobile data, or you're in an office and you're busy, you can't go through all the time, have your phone handy. You have to go to the loo. Can't say I'm going to pee on the bloody desk. You know what I mean? So if you have to go to the loo, you can surely have a quick glance at your phone and say, yeah, I think it might be an item to modify. Tap, 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 job done, move on. The trailing stop, where are you going to put it? How much percentage? Do you understand the full volatility of that instrument? Different volatility required. You stopped out the NAS because your trailing stop is too tight. You're still in the euro dollar because your trailing stop is too wide because it's far less volatile, these sort of things. So rather just modify manually, easier, quicker. And then you're in control. That's just my opinion. Well, if you're not in it, yeah, I suppose you could look at it. Let's say that was probably all stopped out on that one. We all made a profit, so I put that as a winner. GBP CHF. Key level. What key level is this? Bit of support there, but it's still in the sell zone. I'm still backing the Swissy over it, and it's an indicator. Sorry, the indecision of yesterday. Let's just look a bit clearer. Indecision of yesterday. Look at what's happened today. 10-hour old candle. Sells are coming back in again. I don't see that buy at all, Brady, personally speaking. What about you, Jethro? What about you, Clinton? What about you, Mark? Do you see a buy at this one now? Seller rally, yeah. My opinion. That's my opinion. I'm not saying 100%. Clearly, it's my opinion. Sometimes you know TP till you eventually stopped out. I often do that myself, but I just manually do it. I keep modifying the stop. Sometimes I cut my position until I'm eventually stopped out. In fact, sometimes I hit the TP, often I'm just stopped out. I mean, a good example here. You bought it here, the TP is here, modify the stop, and now get rid of your bloody TP, completely remove it, put maybe a trading stop enough to be below here, we know now, down here somewhere, and up and up and up and up and until maybe it stopped out there. Yeah. TBH. I see a lot of sideways moving, all of them. What's the TBH? I mean, a bit sick here. What's TBH? Sorry, Mark, what's TBH mean? Oh, to be honest, sorry, I was looking for some share. So I haven't heard of that US share, but I haven't heard a lot of them. Okay. Uh-huh. No, I don't see what I definitely don't see a buy there. I mean, if you're still in, I think guys might not be. I'd hold on to my short. But will I join the short now and there? Too much decision there. I'll tell you what, the most frustrating thing of all trading, I'll tell you right now, Kawani guys, is sideways indecision, without doubt. To say it's like being stuck in the car, ready to rock and roll, and you don't know whether you go north or south. But if it comes down here, yeah, it's a different story. Yeah, undervalued the pound. Yeah, but it's not where it is now. No. I mean, you'll all be looking at that and immediately see that. Where's the 200? Let's have a look. Let's just go out of it. I think 200 is there. It's below all the moving averages. So it's definitely still in the sell zone. As it is against the Swiss, we know the Swiss is pretty stable and strong. It's got no, you can see immediately, it's not brain science, this. Immediately it popped up, the sellers came in. All right, there's not much happening on the downside. I get that, but at least when it's trying to pop up that low, I know it's not a completed candle. It's only 10 hours old. At the moment, it's still below that. It didn't even get there before the sellers came in. And there's a couple of buyers coming in. It's not giving you enough indication to sell it short now, but certainly not to buy it. That's the one. If you're in, you hold it because it looks like we can get some more downside, but not to sell it to enter. Tesla, I think it's going to get staged. Some buyers might come in. But the thing with Tesla is, like I mentioned yesterday, it's not just a sell of the shares so you can finance Twitter. It's because he's going against the swamp, the club. Because he's going against the club, a lot of guys saying, I'm not going to buy Tesla cars. It's sort of, I'm going to buy another one. I told her that time, it's quite amusing. I'm sort of not an A-list, a B-list celebrity, I thought her name now, but says, I don't like what Tesla's doing, bloody racist, sexist, or whatever. Because he goes against the swamp, he always use racist, sexist. That's the way it is. I'm not going to buy Tesla. I'm going to buy a Volkswagen. So Elon Musk came back. Oh, right. Okay. So you're not going to buy, for me, the racist, but you're going to buy the people's car, which was ordered by Adolf Hitler for Ferdinand Porsche to buy. So you'd rather support the nice lefty Hitler. Is that what you're saying? You know what I mean? It's just all emotional garbage. Yeah, after our little knock the other day, NGAS, probably people a bit low to leave it. I've had more bloody checkered career with this damn NGAS. I'm not that fond of it, but if you do like it, I still think you might get some action. But we thought that yesterday, and it didn't happen. It further went down. Let's have a look here. It even popped its head below the lows. Look at that before it popped up. Now it's gone up to that. Remember that low now is now as a previous high. That was resistance. Now it looks like it could be support. And it looks like a couple of sellers are coming in there. Let's try the 4 hour. A couple of sellers coming in here now. 1 hour. Now it's sideways. I think leave the bloody thing alone. I take your point. There seems to be there's a lot of reasons why it should start going up. I agree. And the beauty is, even if you did, it's not exactly a wide stop. We take it down there. Maybe a 30-cent stop. Maybe you go to 50-cent stop below 4.9, and take it up. But I'm personally not keen. But if you want, there you are. 3.9 and take it up to 615. You get your risk reward, play around calculator, it turns you on. But I'm not keen. If you are keen, you'll say you're keen. I'll put it down, but I'm saying for the record, I'm not. If I miss out, I'm tough. I don't care. This gives me not keen. I'm happy for if it comes right. I like that. USA versus Japan. Yeah, Second World War all over again. Let's have a look at it anyway. I'm only joking. Yeah, I'm leaving it, Merrill. Right, Henny, what do you want to do with this one? And why? There you are. You got the floor, Mr. van Rensburg. What do you want to do with this and why? We'll come to that in a minute because that's interesting. A lot of people will look to buy. You might be doing okay with that. We'll look at that in a moment. So Mark wants to buy this. You want to buy this, is that right? And why do you want to buy it? Do you have a reason, or does it look like a good idea at the time? Yeah, I know you're thinking about it. I'm guessing that, to be honest. No, I'm guessing that. But why? Why do you think that's a buy? That's the question. Let me get guys to be decisive reasons why. I think the NZD JPY, I think it could be some selling there. Why? I don't know. I just feel it could be. It's not really a strategy. You need to see why. Yeah, but that's changing. That's changing. That was then. This is now. The US dollar is coming down a bit. It's not as strong as it was. And Japanese has strengthened a hell of a lot. Remember, because that bond issue increasing the interest rates on it for not the overall, but the interest rates on their bonds are prepared to pay, strengthen their yen. Then they want to buy the yen. So the yen now has strengthened quite a bit, and the dollar has weakened quite a bit. So that's not necessarily the same scenario. And as you can see now on the buyers and sellers position, it's now the dollar's in the sell zone, the Japanese yen is the buy zone. You know what I mean? Times move quickly today due to technology. That was then, this is now, number one. Number two, you're thinking, and a lot of call for it, I'm guessing what you're thinking, it's come off since, what's this date now? October, right? We're now 20th, yeah, literally 2 months ago, it's come off. Good heavens, can't be. Wow. It's come off 2,145 pips. That's an enormous run down. So we start to say that looks like it'd be incredibly undervalued in the dollar and overvalued on the yen. So you're thinking, let's get ahead here, let's jump in. Well, first of all, technically, it's still a sell on this one. I agree about an area which is overvalued or undervalued in the case of the dollar. However, are the buyers and sellers agreeing with me? I don't see it. Look at this. The sellers are coming in. Let's go to the 4 hour. Does that give you confidence? This is still going, but it's like evening star. You know, that up, indecision, down, that's an evening star, which means it could be more downside. Let's have a look at the hour. Sideways. Does that give you confidence? That's good. I'll tell you, I'll give you another. I said 2,145. I think it was pretty oversold when it was, let's say, 1,800 pips down. So that must be a good indication to buy it. Well, if you had, you'd be down, 1,000 pips. You'd be down a lot. So I can see it could be a short, and I can see it could be a buy. But I can see even more, we don't know yet. There's no buyer or seller in charge at the moment. That's why I personally think the fact it's come off so much doesn't tell us it might come off more. It might not make sense to you, but it makes sense to me a lot of things. You know what I mean? But for those reasons, I don't see, I'm confident enough to buy. I, again, hear you, Coyote, I haven't got your gonads, Coyote, to sell at this level, and I've missed out. But look at Euro Japanese yen. Sorry, Pete might be all right with that one. To sell it, and I'd have missed out. Didn't have the nuts to sell it there, and I'd have done all that. However, if I'm still in it all those weeks later, that's about a month ago, isn't it? Having said that, yeah, it could easily come down a bit more. I don't see an indicator yet that's telling me it can jump up here or jump down. I would have to say, if a gun against me, I'd go with you on that, Kenny, that might get a bit of upside here. But that's the gun against my head. But you haven't got a gun against my head, so I'm waiting. I have never heard of that one. Just another card. You see, you know, it's like everything else. Apple starts and you get Samsung and Xiaomi copying it, Huawei or whatever. Is that a copy of the Tesla? Same idea. They're probably getting on the bandwagon now. Okay, fair enough. I haven't heard of it. If you want to discuss cars, Clinton's the guy to speak to. But you see where I'm coming from, Henny? I mean, I want you to get to trade. I want you to make money. I want me to make money. We all want to do that. But I can't see that's jumping. To me, that's jumping the gun. No, you can discuss it. Not much going on. If not, I'll bring it back. You know, it's good to increase knowledge. I haven't heard of it. Let's have a look. Right, immediately look at that. Immediately tells me absolutely nothing there at the moment. At the moment, short the rally. The dollar's still weakish. Keeping up the dollar. Short the rally. What's the range like? 100 pip range. Maybe short it from here down to here, and then buy it back up. The dollar starts rising. Buy it back up again. This could be a range trade. Quite a decent. Sorry, this guy's making a bit of a noise here. If you want to chat, remember, just tell me to unmute and I'll do it. Yeah, it's a 100 pip range, so maybe yeah, maybe a bit of a bounce that range, but not so sure. As you mentioned, it was yesterday or the day before, you're fishing. I hear you fishing, and sometimes I do that and wish I hadn't fished. You know what I mean? I don't think that I think it's not much fish in the sea. They're fish at the moment, really pushing the metaphor scenario. But yeah, it's a bit of a range trade. I suppose it's near the bottom of the range, might have a bounce up. What's the bounce up like? 40 pips to there. So you'd have to aim up here. Might happen. Might take a couple of days to make your 40 pips. Be happy with that, go for it. I'm not keen. Sorry, it's going to be like that today. So no worries. To go for it. Might be better. Cars might be more fun than watching. Car. You've heard of train spotters. The moment the market's like being a cars in traffic jam spotter. You know what I mean? How exciting is that? It's another one I want to get stuck into, but it's not happening. You look at this since yesterday. It's not happening. Look at that indecision candle. That first thing it bangs out to my head when I've switched over there. I looked at that candle, bang, indecision. What is the length of that indecision? Let's have a look. Oh, that's not working. Hang on. 30 pips. That's no bloody good. So let's have a look. 30 pips. That's no bloody good. You see what I mean, Christo? You see what I mean, Brady, on my previous one? I mean, I'm glad you put your hand up and say, Roger, I like you as a host, but you're wrong. I think that's a buy or a sell. I'm happy if you can give a reasonable, rational reason as to why. But there. I'll tell you what, I'll throw it back to you guys. You need to get involved in this forum. Do you see what I'm getting at there? Do you see that's a buy or a sell at this stage? This is the most frustrating areas of trading. Let's buy then, okay? You want to buy clear. See, that's the few I'm getting out there. Put the stop below there. So we're risking $13.30 per micro. What's that in rands? That's well, $10.170, 350. It's about 220 odd dollars per, maybe 20, 25, 225, something like that. Rand, sorry, per micro. So we're going to look for maybe 133, maybe 200. That would put our TP up there. Do we see any evidence that being reached at this stage? And if it doesn't, you've risked a lot of money for one Sonic Micro, I might add, to try and achieve something. You haven't got any particular evidence it's going to go in that direction at this stage. Right, it does. You say, well, if only did it in 3 to 4 days' time. Yeah, but that's hindsight, isn't it? Eventually, yes. Merrill, yes, I do. That's why you'll say, well, how come there's buyers and sellers in this? Because everybody's got different terms of strategy. Merrill, by the way, just for example, hey, Merrill has got a couple of million in their account, right? I presume Merrill is a lady's name, is it? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's, sorry, it's a man, sorry about that. Got a couple of million or so in her account, right? Then she can afford to take a longer. She's going to say, yeah, I think it's going to get back there. So I'm going to put a stop down here somewhere, TP up there. And if it takes a few weeks, even a month or so to get there, Not worry about the swap fees. I'm long term on that one. Let it run. I'll take an NGAS one long term. I think that wide stop. Let it run, and then shorter term I'll do the Nasdaq. I think Microsoft, Apple. I think these Google ones will come right in the end. They're great companies. I'll buy several of those. Let it run for 6 months and put a stop a mile away. You get the idea. But a lot of guys haven't got the funds to look at that long-term approach. So we're going to look more shorter term. And the shorter term is no particular direction at the moment. I hope that answers your question, because yes, I do. Do I think the NASDAQ will go back up again? Absolutely. Do I think Microsoft, Apple, Google, Amazon will? Absolutely. But have we found a bottom yet? Not sure we have. Until we start seeing these interest rates increases having a decent effect on inflation in the big economic zones in the world, we're not out of the problems. You read anyway, don't be particularly clever or knowledgeable anywhere, talking about Bloomberg and analysts, Lagarde or whatever, which is the same stuck record. Our debt and inflation is out of control. Oh yeah, the Marabuza candle, yeah. At least you can say it. But I'm going to put it into simple language here. You call every Japanese fancy name you want. To me, this is indecision at the moment. And that, to me, cuts across everyone, unless you don't speak English, that is, it might be a problem. So, yeah. Gold again. We'll go back gold. That, to me, is one little bit of hope that we might get something on gold. We might get something on gold. Not to buy, I want to say, oh, you're a JPY. Sorry, forgot about that, Pete. You've been selling, you're doing all right, because it popped up today and it's come off again, doing okay, and it's going to sell zone. It just seems the Japanese are still holding on to that strength. So it could be a turnaround there, Mark. We'd have the dollar in the sort of middle zone, and we're going to have maybe in fact, what isn't a weak zone at the moment? They all seem to be middle or strong. Japanese, I think, is going to the strong zone. The Canadian might be the one in the weak zone at the moment, believe it or not. I think the central zone is now the euro. Japanese and the dollar seems to be, well, dollar is the medium. I think it's the Japanese and the Swissy ones in the strong zone at the moment. But I'm not sure how long it's going to last. Remember, the Japanese do not want too stronger yen. They want exports. They want that yen to not be undervalued, but they don't want it overvalued. And then you get Japanese intervention, where the government starts buying the yen and has a bit of a jump. Or selling, which way you want to do it? No, not buy it, sorry, selling the yen. Beg your wrong way around. Selling the yen to weaken it, and you get a bit of a jump. But yeah, I don't think you've been too bad on that. But again, I wouldn't enter that to sell. I wouldn't enter. If you're to sell, you might be. I'll tell you what. If you're to sell and you're in profit, make sure you, when you can, don't get stopped too close. But start reducing your risk. I'm not sure how long it's going to be maintained. And obviously, over 2 hours now, I'm not confident it's going to go down much. I'm not that confident to go up much either. So yeah, anyway, that's my opinion. Whatever. Jonathan, maybe I'm jumping the gun a bit here, Jethro. I want to sell this thing. Yeah, 1830. I'm not sure about the 25. 1830 would be the stop. It's still $15 away. Do you want to risk $15? Not $15, but do you want to risk it? Might be pushing. I'm not going to put this out, by the way. It's an aggressive trade. If anyone wants to be aggressive, one can do it. Let's have a look anyway. I'll stick with the 1780. I like that. And if it doesn't get there and you stop down the profits, so be it. Definitely get a risk reward though, anyway, that's for sure. One way around. Keep forgetting it's defaulted to the long. That's psychological, what most people wanted to mention. So I'm just get rid of this so we can see what's going on. No problem. The risk reward, 26 bucks a micro. Not exactly hectic. If you want to play around with that, and you got a couple of bucks you want to risk on it for your previous profit or whatever, I think there might be a chance of that. The yields are starting to try to move back up again, more it's very, very little. Dollar seems to be holding around about the 104 level. But if it's wrong, it could well be wrong. Go in very small if you want to play around with it. Did it? Okay, Pete, good stuff. See that? Read it. Oh, stop loss. It's TP. Oh, shit. That was a while back. We had that out a while back. NZD reached its stop loss last week. Yeah, if you can actually work on that patience, Mark, I think that's probably a better strategy, actually, to be honest. Okay, Clinton, yeah. Have fun on the phone. Cheers, Clinton, yeah. Okay. NZD CHF. Now it's coming off eventually, but it did stop us out. That was last week, actually. A bit disappointed on that. I thought that was quite a good trade. Well, of course, I thought it was a good trade. I wouldn't have mentioned it otherwise. But anyway, didn't come right. Brent's hovering as well. No. CAD, JPY, nothing happening there. Amazing, eh? First time I actually enjoyed the trade, to be honest. First time I'm glad we don't have one tomorrow, because if this goes on, this is not fun. It's like paying a ticket to go and see a show and there's no show. Hey, I tell you what, think what Mark just said here. Maybe we use this time as work on our patience discipline. Hey? Okay, well, we'll look at that. Kelly's going to answer Gerard's question. Internationally, psychologically, people prefer to buy and to sell. I'm doing it long enough now. I'm every day in front of it. It doesn't make a lot of difference to me. It's irrelevant to me. If I see a short, I'll go it. For you long, I'll go for it. Doesn't bother me in the slightest either way. I'm so used to it now. But a lot of guys out there, especially in the early days of their trading journey, more psychologically adjusted to a buy rather than sell. Okay, yeah. Calvert, that's pronounced properly. Calvert sounds good to me. Yeah, NZD CAD. Well, have we got a fib to help us? Maybe we can take a fib from. We can take a fib from. Is this a good place to take a fib from here? It's a bit of a low here. Can you see it? Yeah. So 38.2 fib around about that level. Or do you think it's got more downside? I'm cluttered a minute. Clear it's in the buy zone. All right, it's taken out the 10. Do you think it could be some more downside on this one? Canadian hasn't proved very strong lately. And it's got a CPI, I think it's coming out tomorrow, which could affect it. It's very different. Canadian retail sales are coming out at 3:30 today on the Canada. Oh, no, that was yesterday, sorry. Today, Nothing on Canadian today. Oh, yes, there is. Sorry, it's today. Beg your pardon. Today, 3:30, Canadian core CPI is coming out. So don't forget that. 3:30 today. What's that in 5 hours' time? Core CPI of the Canadian. If it's inflation, in other words, it's much higher than expected, there might be talk about maybe get the Canadians start chatting about interest rates, which could, that chat will maybe increase the strength of the Canadian, which will mean that I have more downside because the NZD is the base currency. On a technical point of view, it's come down a bit of support, so it could get a bounce technically for higher up. It's in the buy zone. My worry basically is last 3 days had some down momentum. Has it ended yet? And the CPI worries me a little bit. I'm not sure I'm over keen to do either on this. Yeah. Okay, Kieran, you got to shoot off. You got to shoot off. But yeah, down at the moment, last couple of days, I agree. But is it now finding some support? Remember, it's in the strong zone, got CPI. Do you see more downside there, despite what I mentioned? Okay, John, we should talk profit. If you're done for the year taking a profit, that's good stuff. Want more evidence? I wait for more evidence. I agree on that. Yeah, too much indecision. Rather work on the patience thing. Yeah, I can certainly learn from that. Frustrating though it is, but not enough evidence for me to go. There's a couple of obstacles stopping me. The main one, the CPI. Remember, it has to have the CPI when the Americans came out with it. Okay, what about this gold thing? Anything happening there? We'll try and maybe get a better price still. Might be still coming off, don't know. Anyone want to try an aggressive trade on this, or we're going to wait? But if you do go for it, don't go in too big on this one. We're trying Eugene. Anyone want to join Eugene? Okay, we'll try as aggressive trade. Let's put it down then. Okay. See if the stuff's still there. Yes, it is. 1814, we'll call them. I'm putting in brackets aggressive. 1814, 1815. I think 1814.50. That's in between the spreads, as they call it. 1830 and 1780. See how that works out. Okay. See, it's not much a micro, so you know, you don't have to risk a hell of a lot. Okay, Jerry. Yeah, it's a bit quiet. Got stuff to do. Fair enough. Unless we've got major stuff to discuss in here, I might close up a little bit early because it's not happening. It's not happening yet. I could well be right, NK. We're not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong. If you're long SL, I don't know what price you got in. That's your SL, but yeah, you could well do that. I say it's super aggressive. It could well go up. If that yield comes off again and the dollar drops below 104, it slides down to 103 on the index. Yeah, it could get further upside. It's an aggressive. We know that. So it will not be sent out on the group. Okay. Anything else? Anybody out there like to discuss? Any questions? Any guys there thinking, what are we talking about here? Could you post that again for me? How do you get the risk calculator? Where do you, can you just post that DXY for me again? Or how do you know what the margin is? Where do you get that? Anything like that you're not too sure, or a line on the chart you're not sure of, I can give a quick explanation in the meantime. We had a bit of a jip on that one last time. I think that was GBP CHF. No, GB, was it? Yeah, GBP CHF. That was when we got a jip on. NZD CHF. Yeah. This one, I forget, one we didn't do too well on. GBP CHF came right. This one's the one I think came up and bit us. It's come down to support the moment. Is there enough momentum down to convince you it's going to continue? I don't feel confident. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, I'll do that. I'll do that. Just one, Henny, before we go on that, Eugene. Sure. I'm not confident. Anybody? That's my personal opinion. I'm going to be a trading chicken here. I'm not going to be a trading marine on this one. I'm going to leave alone. But if you want some support from anybody else, you're going to get it from other guys there, and they want to put up the calculator, I'll do it with pleasure. I'm just putting my hand, I'm giving my particular stand on it. I personally want some more confidence of maybe a clean break, the entire candle, maybe tomorrow, not that we have a TR tomorrow, but tomorrow where it's the entire candle is below that 50, giving me more confidence to sell it. I can't see enough confidence, even if it's come down to support, enough buyers coming to the party as yet to buy it. I'm gonna miss out on this one. Do you still want to do it, Henny? I'll put the calculator up with pleasure if you still want to do it, and tell me which way you want to go. Can you just tell me? So go on to the next thing. Quick response, Henny. You wait. Okay, thanks, Henny. Right, it's quite simple, guys. If you don't know how to part close, it's important you do. Go to where your open trade is. Select the one you want to part close. You're not going to part close it now, but let's do it as an exercise without clicking the close button, obviously. So go to one, anyone, doesn't really matter, guys. Pick one on your laptop, highlight it. Okay? Once it's highlighted, if I go too quick, I'll do it again. Once it's highlighted, what you do then, you'll see, the stop loss price, volumes, type, time you went into, SL, TP, the current price, swap fees, profit loss, all that along there. Well, there's a box where you got the SL and a box where you got the TP. If you want to modify the SL or the TP, clearly you click on that box, double click on that box. We're not going to do that. We're going to partially close. We'll have a look at that in a moment. We're partially close, right? So what you do is you double click on that blue line anywhere but, B-U-T, but the SL or TP box, hopefully, obviously. You double click on there and another box comes up on your screen. Do as we speak, then you'll see it happening. Do it again if you like, it's important, right? A box comes up. Right, if you want to close the trade, you see that yellow bar, you click on it, don't do it now, it's an example. You click on it and then your trade is closed. Bang, your money goes back in your account, fair enough. But you don't want to close the entire position. Now, if you've got a micro, you've got no choice. That's the smallest amount you can take. But if you've got more than that, let's say you've got 4 micros, okay? And you decide you want to close 2 of them and let the other 2 remain. All you do is you go to the volume box and you put in 0.02. Then you go to that yellow bar and click on it, 2 are banked, and you're left with 2. Is that clear? Do you want me to do it again? I'll do it again until you got it. It's important. Okay, Mike, good stuff. Oh, you got it, Eugene. Okay. It's a nifty tool, but it should be understood. It's absolutely common sense because I've always an example, Eugene, you got financial problems and you got 2 houses. Why sell both? If you sell one of them, it solves your financial problem. That's fine. Keep the other one if it's still doing well with the capital gains or other property or whatever. So yeah, you don't have to close the entire one. So there you know. So often you can do as part of your trading strategy. Modify stop, getting near the TP. You might squeeze some more out of it, but you're nervous. Modify your TP out the way. Modify your stop. into profit, a bit more profit, and then maybe bank a couple and then let the other run. If it goes up a bit more, bank another one until eventually it's stopped out. Another one you can do. Of course you can. Just open a new order. Just open a new order. So you're in the NZD and you're going long, and you've done a long-term one with a very wide stop of 4 micros. You also can afford to do a shorter-term one with a much tighter stop loss. So you'll do another order there with, let's say, 1 mini or 10 micros. Right, then you can start partially closing the micro or modifying your stop on the shorter-term one until eventually out of it. And your 4 micros is still running because you've got a wider stop and a longer-term view on it. Absolutely, just different order. It's like someone's just went in, meant to go in 1 mini, 0.1, and put in 0.01. It's already defaulted from a previous one, 0.01, and they want to do 10. Well, not a problem. And I've said this to guys, and what to do is they close the other one. Why would you do that? If you're in, you want 10, one minute is 10 micros. You want 10 micros, and you put in 1 micro by mistake. We'll just do a new order for 9 micros. You don't have to close that 1 micro and then open another one for 10. Why would you do that? Just say 1 from 10 is 9, so you open a new order of 9. It's astounding how many people don't seem to see that and close immediately that one and do the other one. I've had people say, suggest you modify your stop loss to go and close the money position. Yeah. Yeah. It's again, the psychology of Koanian guys, it's all psychology. I can't overestimate how powerful the understanding of psychology is in trading. The more powerful all those indicators put together. Maybe it's, I don't know, maybe the highs and lows, I don't know, but it's vitally important. And it's understanding that mass psychology of fear and greed. That's why I say, you know, why you're nervous, it can come off. Well, modify your stop, close part of your position. In theory, a lot of the time you should be stopped out rather than your TP. Well, stopped out loss, I get that. But most of the time you're stopped out because you modified your TP, it modified, reduced your position size, kept moving your stop until eventually it does. But the beauty of you doing on that, you've got to have time to do it, is you're not getting out, you bought here, right? Well, let's make it a better one for your example. You bought here and your TP's there. Why are you still going? You're still modifying, let's say you're still in, you might still be in now. Doubt it, because that move back down there was so hectic, it would have been stopped out anyway. But you get the general idea. No, we can't. Spreads the cost charged by the company. And a bit of a touchy subject on that, I'll be honest, Krista. Very touchy subject. But I don't set the spread, the company does. We've got a lot of things coming up in the new year, which I can't talk about right now, but they should be positive. I'm just hinting at it, but I can't tell what it is at the moment until it's released, and I'm not allowed to tell you. And it hasn't been fully released to me, but I'd say they're still talking about it, what we're going to be doing. And if that comes to fruition, which I think is a good chance it will do, hopefully early in the new year, I can't say it'll be January, February, but as soon as it does, hopefully we'll get a reduction of those spreads. At the moment, it really is, again, supply and demand. You know, it's what do you call it? Is it economy of scale or whatever the word is? I mean, I'll give an example, Christo. You go to a company and say, I'm going to put in, let's say, $500,000 US. I want a tighter spread. They'll probably look at it. You want to put in, I don't know, $50. No, they won't. I mean, I'm going to be horribly honest with you guys. You walk into the bank and you want to deposit 100 Rand. You're a nuisance because it costs them more than 100 Rand to put you on put them on the books. You know, because they've got time to put the admin in and set it all up. And the profit potential on 100 Rand to the bank is often not worth it. But they'll open up anywhere. They'll be nice. And hopefully in future you'll be putting more in. You get the idea. That's the idea. But if you're just going in 100 Rand, you'll stand in the queue and you're a nuisance. Now you walk in, you want to deposit 10 million Rand, you don't stand in the back of the queue, you go straight to the manager. Simple as that. It's economy of scale, it's common sense. And people come up and say, well, that's not fair. Well, just for the rich guy, and it's complete drivel that. It's always been that and always will be that. Well, always will be, I can't tell the future. But since the beginning of time, it's always that way. If you're a general, you've got more power than you've got as a private. If you've got 10 million, you've got more power than you've got 10 Rand, clearly. That's the way it is. And because, you know, you've got to, I buy one pair of shoes a month. I'm going to less than the guy who orders 1,000 pairs a month. Same sort of principle. But hopefully it will be sorted out in the new year where we can get them slightly tighter. But I can't say until it's released and what's happening until that occurs. But in the meantime, fair enough. But that being as it may, on very small amounts, still fairly irrelevant anyway, because on the percentage terms, it doesn't really happen. A lot of people say, I don't like the swap fee, I don't like the spreads or whatever, but they've got peanuts in their account. They don't think, well, peanuts in the account haven't got a lot to say because, you've got to think from the other person's point of view. You want your profit, but you've got to substantiate what you're giving the company to look after you for. You want to Zoom for an hour and you're putting nothing in and you ask for something for free. Would you give something for free? You might do, but probably not. So you've got to balance it up, what you're offering to what you're going to get. I think that's probably the best way of putting it. Seems to be beyond a lot of people getting that. If you're offering squat, you're going to get squat. If you're offering a lot, clearly you're going to jump to attention. You know what I mean? Clearly. But yeah, there are other outsides might have tighter, but they might not give them. Well, they give you something to take away the other. They might have the same service. They might have different minimums. There might be other aspects in it you're not going to get. You know what I mean? Here you get some sort of service, blah, blah, blah. But that apart, we'll take it. But I say always in life, trying to get people, if you demand a lot, you've got to prepare to give a lot in return. I want to see the manager because that 10 Rand chocolate bar I got was soiled or something like that. Well, no, but if I buy 100,000 Rand piece of machinery, well, that's a different story. It's the way it is. I don't care if you're a commie or you're a bloody capitalist or what you are, it's the way it is. The president gets shot, people know about it. Joe Soap gets shot, you're not going to know about it. It's the way it is. Okay, well, I hope it's au revoir, and Marie, we hope we get you in the new year. I will be sending them if I have them. That's a good point, guys. Marie, everyone, I think it's conversation right anyway. If you don't get one, it's not because I'm sitting my ass, it's because I didn't want to send. I'm not going to send one if I think it's no bloody good. And if I do send, I think it's good, and it's not any good. That's why I have a stop loss. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. Oh, yes, of course. Merry Christmas. And don't overdo it on your Christmas pudding now. You don't want you getting indigestion for overeating. Well, I'm sure it'll be delicious. If you've got any saved over in the new year and it's not gone stale, you can send me some virtual Christmas pudding. Christmas whiskey, that's a good idea. Okay, Gerard, but I'll be around. Just the trading room's going to be a bit not going to be there. But it might be a bit quiet, but then we'll see what happens. I can't predict if we get some action or not. Okay. Anyway, comms of the season, and we'll continue to be in touch. Great stuff. Clearly not Christmas Day, and I think it's a holiday on the Monday and the Tuesday, because Christmas Day is on the Sunday. So I think Tuesday is going to be a holiday as well. In South Africa, that is. I'm not sure about international. Okay, Mark. Gonna duck and get some turkey, okay? Oh, yeah, and of course, enjoy your break, okay? If you don't get you this afternoon, I'll catch you in the new year. And of course, great Christmas, as they say. Okay, last few minutes. Any of you guys want to know, do you all get the idea about partial closing? Eugene got it, but you might not have got it, somebody else. Did you get that, Evans, or anybody new there? No, you can partially close the trade. Or anything on that line? Anything just to wrap it up? Anything you're not sure before we go close the session? Thank you, Christo, as well. Great. Good. The fact you come here is good because it's a minute percentage attend any of the classes or the trading room, and they're trading without that. And it's not working for them. You tell you between you and me, and the gate post ain't working for them. So the fact you take the trouble, good. Not guaranteed work coming here, no promises. I think you've got a better chance. Yeah. Any guys, any questions? You all know how to pass your close now? You all happy with that? All got your calculators? You know the difference between a share calculator and a Forex one? And you know the difference in opening times and closing times on the different instruments? It's quite simple. Up us through and shares, the rest around the clock, except weekends. But anyway, any other questions before we wrap it up? Well, to be honest, Christo, before you shoot, if I get prosperity, consider you should get prosperity. I just share the same ideas I do. So yeah, that's a bit of good news, eh? Thanks, John. Saw your rather controversial post. I think it was on Facebook or something. Probably a bit of truth in the matter, but got to be careful what you say, eh? Okay, guys, there's no more questions. Shall we wrap it up? There's only a few minutes to go anyway. Absolutely, Keonim. Fantastic coming here, and I hope it's going to reflect into the new year in your trading results. That's where it really counts. I haven't checked you out, Mr. Mayor, but from some of the stuff you're coming out with, you seem to be you're certainly ahead of the game. What's going on? So it's working for you. Great stuff. Don't forget, I'm doing this afternoon. I don't know how long it lasts. Depends how many people come on, and more of a point, any action out there. It's not much action. We'll have a nice chat and wish everyone a Merry Christmas and relax a bit. Lorenzo, I think you speak for everyone there. We all will hopefully get better at trading. But the biggest thing to work on is that sort of patience and discipline. That's an ongoing bloody hassle unless you have natural. It's always been my problem. I'm quite an emotional. It's always been my problem in trading. A little less now, I have to be honest, but certainly my earlier days. Okay, great stuff. Thanks for all your support. And keep an eye on the NZD CAD. Make it come right for you. Yeah, hope it does. Yeah, seed be coming off. It might come down further. Keep an eye. It might come right. Okay, just before I go, I should say the gold. No, it's not going too well at the moment, but it's not a disaster. Well, we'll check it during the day. Thanks very much, John. Thank you. And appreciated your support as well. Don't forget. Thank you very much, Alford. So no bid. Fantastic. Okay, guys, catch you. Hopefully some this afternoon. And then maybe on the WhatsApp going into the new year, we'll be up and running again. Cheers. Thanks, Sephora. Thanks for your support as well. And NK.